Welcome to those who are here and to BCTV for filming. I'd like to open the Newfane Selectboard regular meeting. It is 6 o'clock on April 17th. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to the agenda to our agenda? Oh, I guess we have to, the first thing is we need to, no, that's, nobody additions or?
To the agenda?
To the agenda, no. Okay, that's good. All right, on the minutes of April 3rd, on that regular meeting, does anyone have any corrections or additions to that?
The only thing I noted was on the second page, last sentence, we should probably put Gunther's last name in there so that people in the future will know who we were talking about.
Okay.
Gunther Carby.
Okay, Shannon got that. And on others present up at the top, we did also have Lynn Forrest here and Frank Saponsky. Okay, do I have a motion to approve these minutes with correction?
Motion to approve as corrected.
Second.
Okay, great. We have a second. And any discussion further than what we've had? All right. All those in favor of approving the April 3rd minutes as corrected, please say aye.
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 Okay. And any,
There.
so you're abstaining?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is 4 and 1 abstention. All right. Let's see. We're moving right along to this. The 3rd is done. Road business. And so we have Todd here. And can you read the road foreman's and road commissioner's report?
Yeah. As far as the roads go, overall, they've held up really well as far as mud season is concerned. The Warrants Road is the worst one we have so far. There are sections of that are still pretty wet and has some pretty good ruts in it. We hauled quite a bit of stone up on there Friday to get people through it for the weekend. That spot seems to be quite a bit better, but there's ones above that that we're watching. There's a couple spots that are getting pretty soft. May end up taking the trucks up there tomorrow morning and hauling some more stone up there. The grader's out every day shaping up the roads, and we're out raking the roads as well. We've been hauling gravel as well as stone. The crew's been out with the backhoe cleaning culverts and straightening out some of the ditch lines. The guys have been out doing a lot of handwork, redirecting the water on days it's been raining. The problem we had was that there were still quite a few snowbanks, and it was keeping the water from getting in the ditches, so the guys went out with shovels and stuff and redirected it, and it's helped quite a bit. Kept the roads from actually washing out in places. As far as the equipment goes, the 09 Sterling, our favorite truck, is back from Twin State. They found several things wrong with the emissions and fixed the wipers as well. All the wings of the trucks have been taken off. The plow frames are going to stay on for a while just in case we do get a little bit of snow that we might have to plow the blacktop with. We're working on the plow frame on the 2013 Mack. We'll have that back together this week. The F550 went to Face Ford down in Brattleboro, had 2 tie rod ends replaced and the front end aligned, and they covered all of it under the extended warranty. So that was different from what the other dealership we've been to. Otherwise, the equipment is good. Kenny Pond Repairs, Lucian Leak called me yesterday and is wondering when the town is going to finish up the retaining wall project. He'd like to see it done by June, and I told him that I was not going to tell him it would be done by June, but we'd go out and look at it. I told him we've done a lot of the work up there. The town, excuse me, fixed the spillway, and we cut the trees that they wanted cut. Now it's just a matter of putting fill over the bank where the wall is right now. But I want to get Mark Pickering up there to take a look at it with me to make sure that that's all good. I know Mike and I have been up there and looked at it. We've got quite a bit of fill around the garage. It was ditch material that could probably be used up there and dump it. It would save the town having to haul too much other material up there. We'd probably use our trucks and get a contractor to push it over with a bulldozer or something. As far as the Williamsville Hall goes, we got a call from Steve Levine Friday that they were having a movie there Saturday night, and there was some sort of a water leak downstairs. They needed a plumber, so I called Jeff Russ. I have not heard anything else, so I'm assuming it's fixed. But the other day when we were down there, somebody had turned the downstairs, like the dining room area, up to 66 degrees. So I turned that back off. All the heat's off except for the bathrooms. So we went down to check the oil, and it's down somewhere between a quarter and a half tank already, since it was full for town meeting. It's using up
Wow.
fuel. So as far as the paving bid goes, I'm working on a 2-part paving bid this year. We had quite a bit of money left over for paving from this year's budget because we got those 2 grants that Shannon and I worked on. I'd like to use up the remaining money, but it's got to be done and billed before June 30th. So I'm going to write up a bid for that, and then write up another bid for the regular paving and the regular money for this upcoming budget. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you, Todd. Do I have a motion to approve the road foreman and road commissioners report?
Motion to accept. Go ahead.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, and any discussion about the report? I'm a little concerned about the half tank of fuel already gone.
It's not quite down half, but it's
Oh.
using them.
Oh,
It's down a ways.
and has anyone mentioned this to Steve?
I didn't know, I hadn't talked to Steve since I went and looked at it, so probably the board should they should go check on it, make sure that the heat's not on anywhere but the bathroom.
Yes,
So
sir.
the bathrooms are the only ones that are gonna freeze, because the kitchen is drained, so.
Do you think it would be a good idea to just let him know, or,
Oh yeah, I can call him if you want.
okay?
The problem is there's a certain person that goes in that building, and it's done on purpose, I believe. It's gone on for the last at least 3 years. The heat's been turned up.
Has Steve been contacted about that?
Oh yeah, he knows it.
I think other boards have talked to him before.
Well, I'll make note of that. Yeah, all right, thank you. Anybody else, any other discussions on the report? Seeing that there's no more discussion, I'd like to move this motion to vote. All right, all those approving the motion to approve, saying they're in favor of approving the road foreman and road commissioners report, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And 1 abstention. Okay, so it is 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Okay, thank you very much. One of the things that we are needing to do as we are getting ready to eventually hire another highway road crew worker, that we noticed that the last job description that was on file was written in 1992. And so we needed to work towards updating that, revising it, and signing off on it. And so we're going to be doing that. And Todd has been given the revision, and so we're asking for, I'm not sure if I would make a motion to approve and then have discussion, or just,
Just need a motion to discuss it.
okay.
Motion to,
I'm making a motion to discuss the revision of the highway road crew position job description, and also, since we will be advertising this eventually, we have also the job opening for the highway road crew position along with the job application. And so we're going to be looking at those today and perhaps revising them today. Okay, do I have a motion for discussion?
you already have a motion there.
Second.
Second. No, I made the motion.
Oh, I second.
Okay, I guess we're good to go. All those in favor of discussing it, please say aye.
What class? Like,
Nobody's
should
just
they
wanting
have-
to discuss this?
Oh.
It's
I
so
think
disgusting.
I guess first of all, Todd, after reviewing this, did you have any items you wanted to add or delete?
On the highway crew position job description, it should say something in there that the town is involved in random drug testing, drug and alcohol testing.
You'll have to say that a little louder, because I couldn't, truck testing, did you say?
No,
Drug testing.
drug testing.
Oh, drug
That The
testing.
town's involved in random drug testing,
Okay, we can
and
add
that they would
that.
be subject to that.
Yep.
There's a, sorry.
I thought we
were you
did have,
Were you done?
No, I was just gonna add that,
possesses a commercial driver's license with proper endorsements, have a clean driving record.
No, they are actually subject to the CDL alcohol and drug policy, which is a separate policy. They also have to have a medical card, a valid medical card.
Yeah, when you have your CDL, right?
Not necessarily, you could have your CDL and not have a valid
Ah,
medical card.
so we do need to add that. Let's add that to that.
No, they take it right away from you now.
Well, they do,
if
but-
don't have your card.
But it should be in there because if
Okay.
they didn't have one.
Can you put that in there? Add that to there?
So that's a medical card, you said?
Yeah.
And what was the other?
They're subject,
drug
well,
for
they're
the
subject to
subject to-
personnel policy too.
Yeah,
Right.
But there's a separate policy that's the CDL drug and alcohol policy.
CDL,
Yep.
drug and alcohol.
Good point, Todd, thank you.
the other thing would be that
You have to speak
If-
louder, remember? I'm
if the
little-
employee gets in a traffic accident with one of the trucks and it's a reportable accident, that employee has to go down and get drug tested as soon as the accident's over.
Right, that's all in that policy. It's
Right.
like 12
Oh,
pages
that's-
long.
So we need to add that as well? Yeah,
I
I
think
know
as long as
it
you
was-
say that they're
I was-
subject to that policy,
We should be okay.
it should be okay.
It should be okay.
But
Okay.
you have to have it in there.
Which document then? The,
It should be in both.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
And because on the front of the actual job application, there's a little sort of a highlighted idea of what the job is about. We could either put it in both places.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to add or change on these?
Well, there's just spelling error or printing
Okay.
error.
All right, let's look which
On,
where it
um,
is.
on
Right
the-
here, it's on the job application.
On the job application,
Yeah.
second page, where it says normal working hours instead
Ah,
of hours.
Instead of hours. Good catch.
The only other thing I had on the job opening for highway road crew position is, says operating dump truck and loader in a wide variety of highway maintenance. That should say they shall be required to run any piece of equipment we have, not just the dump truck and the loader. We got the grader, we got the backhoe, chloride truck.
Okay.
They should be knowledgeable in all of that.
So maybe
So if
just
somebody
in
gets hurt.
general-
And is that down under major job duties on that page?
Yeah. First sentence on there.
Yeah, okay. And so what we're gonna be adding, or we're gonna just all, maybe strike out dump truck and loader and put down all pieces of
Vehicle.
equipment?
That way if somebody breaks a leg and they're running the
Yeah.
grader,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
everybody should know how to run the grader. Everybody should know how to run the backhoe. If we get a flood or something like that, these guys are gonna have to go out and run that equipment, so. Otherwise, I didn't really see much.
okay.
Good job. Any other additions or deletions or changes? You all did have a chance to look at these?
Yeah,
Okay. Give me a few more minutes.
At the bottom of the job opening, it says submit to Town of Newfane at the address above.
There is an address. It's P.O. Box 36 or
Yeah,
555
it
Route 30.
Okay, yeah, it should go to 296, because that's the select
I'm sorry?
board. It should go to P.O. Box 296.
296.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Good catch.
So motion to approve as amended.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as amended. Any seconds? Okay, Mike seconds. All right, we have all those in favor of approving the new job description for highway road crew position and the job application, please say aye.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Can I say something before
Sure.
we vote? Because I just saw it
Saw
this
another one?
last time. On the draft where it says major job duties, the first sentence says the highway road crew's person's duties shall include but not be limited to the following. So if I were applying,
Yep.
I would want to know what not be limited means. What other things might show up as
I think
something I
that-
would have to do that I didn't know
Right.
about when I
think
signed up?
that you can't list all the jobs, there are so many jobs. And even if on a particular day, the road foreman needs you to do something that is not listed here,
Like set up for elections.
like set up something, you can't list them all. And this is
No, but-
generally how job descriptions.
Okay, I just,
You
Wanted to
basically
get clear.
have to do pretty much everything that the foreman asks you to do.
You're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, thanks for checking on that
Sorry.
though. Okay, so we have a motion and we have it seconded to approve these as corrected. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone not approving it, please say no.
And a thank you to Carol and Chris for going through many different towns' job descriptions for the highway department and updating this.
It needed to be done, thank you. All right, so we have these approved with corrections, 5-0. All right. Now we, moving on, do I make a motion to go into executive? Yes,
You
I
entertain a
move.
motion.
What?
You entertain a motion.
I entertain, that's a good word. I entertain a motion to enter into executive session to discuss employment of an employer or public officer under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A3.
Doesn't have to be done now, can't be done as the last item.
It is scheduled for now, and we did approve the schedule. Do I?
Stay home, no bad.
Motion to
Yes.
enter into executive session.
Yes. Okay. Do we?
We'll try to make it as quick as
Do I have a
possible.
second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to terminate executive session.
So move.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we end our executive session.
Yes.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. We're back.
Bye, good night, thanks,
Good night.
Todd.
All right, moving right along.
What, any report on the executive session?
Sorry, we have to hold confidentiality in our executive sessions. Sorry.
Any decision?
Okay.
There were no decisions. Right?
Oh, no decision. That I should say that. Sorry. Thank you. I kind of knew at all of this, so I'm gonna. Thank goodness I've got some experienced people here who can say, do the right thing. All right. Now we are going to be listening to Win Clark from Rescue Inc. Hi, Win.
How you doing?
Fine. And we also, can you tell us, you can actually come up here into the light a little bit. I know why it's so dark back there, because those two lights are out. I can't see you.
Guns are happy.
What happened to the jack of all trades?
So this last year has been very busy at Rescue. We had a lot of exciting things going on. In February of last year, we celebrated our 50th anniversary. which was quite a milestone to make. Few make it, and that was some fun. We started our annual car raffle. We started that in June, and we concluded it in October. And that was, we sold all the tickets, and that was a success. So we're in the process. Actually, tomorrow night we sign up with Subaru to start this year's raffle. And in May of last year, we solicited bids and hired a company to help create a capital campaign. We formed a committee with community members, some board members. What was hoped to be a lot of smart people on this thing, and they're off to a good start. So hopefully we can generate some. The long-term hope is to get some type of an endowment back, which we haven't had for years. Something we can work off from a little bit. In June, we received our Act 250 permit for the West Townsend station, and we broke ground in early July. So that was a lot of hard work by a lot of people, but it was fun. I was on the building committee and moved along, and we actually moved in on February 7th.
That's
So
good.
we've been operating out of there. So
Are
I got the
are you
crew
going
out
to
of
have an
that.
open house
We're gonna have an open house on June 10th.
June 10th?
It's
Okay.
open to everybody, and we'll have food and activities going on, tours of the building. We're hoping by then that the grass will be growing and,
Yeah, that would be nice.
Snow will be melted,
As of today, snow is done.
maybe at your
not
house.
all of it.
Yeah, there's still snow out there.
So that should be fun. During the fall, we send an ambulance, well, back up. In the last 3 or 4 ambulances we bought better quality boxes, the back part of the ambulance, with the hope that we could re-chassis them. When the chassis wore out, we could send it back to the company, use the same box, put it on a new chassis. And we did our first one last fall, and we're hoping if the finances hold true, that we can do a second one this year. Our call volume has gone up quite drastically. The problem with the call volume going up is it taxes the personnel and it wears out our trucks, but it also makes more revenue.
Yeah.
It's a,
And it saved more lives.
saving our lives. So in October, we're gonna be doing the drawing for the car raffle. And last fall, we hosted our second annual adventure race. And we have to get a permit every year from the Corps of Engineers to do that, because we do it at Jamaica State Park. We're working on the permit now. We may change it around a little bit this year to try to get more people involved, but
Tell me what is involved with that? Is it,
we wanted to do a fundraiser, but instead of doing like a 5K or a half a marathon, we decided to do it more on the lines of the mother that they do over the Mount Snow, which has been hugely successful. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but we had 8 teams, and we had 7 or 8 obstacles set up. Some of them were in the river. One was up at Pikes Falls, Hamilton Falls, excuse me. And there was a lot of running involved and kayaking.
and the winning team, what do they receive?
What did they receive?
Yeah.
A T-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no prize,
Okay.
money prize or anything, but we had a lot of fun, and
Yeah, a lot of fun.
yeah.
That's good.
And finally, I guess the most exciting thing for you guys is that last fall, we decided to level fund our town contract rate for this year.
Okay.
Don't expect that that'll happen next year. And that's pretty much what's going on.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or?
Well, I think the only thing I really kind of heard like at town meeting, because there wasn't nothing in the report,
That's right.
and I think what the guys at the town meeting were kind of wondering is how they come up with that figure. You know, the 48,000 compared to like what other towns and.
It's all done per capita.
So
You mean the town contract rate?
Yeah.
We, in the past, way before my time, when they took over Grace Cottage, there's what used to be called D1 and D2. Newfane was the lowest end of D2. They had a higher rate than D1. We're hoping this year to eliminate that, so it's gonna be level for everybody. We don't know how we're gonna make that happen, but that's our goal. But the board approves the number, and then that's multiplied by the per capita of each town.
Yeah, because I mean, that's, when we tell the people at the town meeting that day, because we told them we'd try to put it on,
The website as well as
Right.
if it on.
because
Town
everybody was
report.
wondering how they come
Yep.
up with the numbers and different things, so I mean, like a breakdown, I guess, of it, so I guess we could just get something like that, and then I guess you could put it
The
in. on
number
the
of
website.
citizens served, that sort of thing.
And I apologize for not having a report in the thing. I assumed the chief was gonna do it like he has in the past, and he didn't, I didn't, so consequently they weren't there.
So
But
we'll definitely get it on time this year.
I told
This time.
Shannon if I didn't get one this year, just fire me.
And it is up on the website now.
Yes, it is up on the
Thank you.
website. The report that was to be in the town report is now on the Newfane's website, so you can read it. Very good
Yeah,
reading.
and at any point, if anybody has any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. And, you know, I'd like to come back maybe this fall. In years past, I mean, I didn't do any last year. I kind of fell through the cracks, but the fall before I had Drew come with me, and he kind of explained some of the things that I can't explain. And I think that was helpful. And he's gonna try to reach out to as many boards this year as he can, so.
When, are we the payer of last recourse?
What's that now?
Are we, is the town of Newfane for its citizens, the payer of last recourse? If you take a person to the hospital, they don't have insurance, and they don't pay the bill, does that come back to the town of Newfane, or is
No.
it picked up in your per capita? It
It's
is, okay.
the per capita, I mean, what you pay is only by per capita. We, like Medicare, we get 16 cents on the dollar. Medicaid, we get somewhere around 62%. So we have a billing, we used to do billing in-house. We now have it contracted out because of the HIPAA thing.
Yeah.
There was no way we could do it in-house and stay legal. So we have a company down in Massachusetts that does the billing. But between the insurance companies, Medicaid, Medicare, but we write off a lot of months. We write 200,000 or 300,000 off. And the present management down there has done a great job of trying to get money.
Anybody else?
No, thank you for all the work you do.
Yes.
It's amazing, really.
Try, we'll try to do a better job of reporting.
I do have one question, just, every time Newbrook is called out, does, Rescue Inc. go as well?
It's actually the other way around. Typically,
Rescue
rescue gets
Inc. is
toned
called
out by
and Newbrook-
911. And over to Keene, they automatically tone out Newbrook.
Because yesterday, I live on Newfane Hill.
Yep,
And yesterday, I noticed that Newbrook was sending a truck up with the lights flashing but no siren. And I also saw Rescue Inc. going up without.
Right, that was
anything.
toned out, it came in, actually happened to hear it on my scanner. It came in as an automobile accident.
Ah,
So protocol over to Keene is, because they didn't know the nature of the accident, they automatically start rescuing, they automatically start the jaws.
well, I also thought because it was a fire warning day because of the winds, that if there was some type of fire or an accident that could cause a fire.
Well, we always roll a pumper on an accident,
Okay,
because you have personnel working on trying to get the patient out of the automobile. You gotta have protection there in case the car catches on fire.
that's good to know. Thank you very much. Thank you
Newbrook.
for coming.
Newbrook treats as first responder and then rescue transports. Is that correct?
Yeah, Newbrook's role is to stabilize the patient, and we've got some very good people on there
Yes,
now.
they do.
I know,
Yep.
it's a great,
Excellent
In
people.
fact, quite a few of the people that are on Newbrook Rescue are doing per diems, and we got a couple full-time people at Rescue that are still on Newbrook, so we got a good crew.
You do.
But you're our largest single non-municipal expenditure, so people want to know. And you're doing a great job. It's good to get that message out.
Yes, it
People
is.
do know.
So we hope to see some of you on June 10th.
It's already written down in my calendar.
all right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Moving on to unscheduled members of the public. Do we have any that are unscheduled? Well, somebody is right there, unscheduled, but, oh, he just woke up. Okay. All right, moving right along to new business. We have the town office painting bids, and they're right here. And we're going to open them and review them. And we have a bid for exterior painting and interior painting, and unfortunately, we only have one company bidding, which is very,
Well, are we
so-
going to give more time?
well, this was the deadline, and the deadline was at 1 o'clock, I think, today?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock,
Oh,
sorry.
oh,
And it's been, this is it. So we'll take a look, and then we'll perhaps discuss them. Thank you. I'm gonna let you get, I'm just, okay, there we go. And
She works.
I'm not sure we actually want to read these in case
You have to be ready.
they have to be read. Gary, would you like to read this one?
Is that for interior or exterior?
That is interior.
This is from Momani Painters for the sum of $11,600. Momani Painters LLC proposes to paint the interior of the Newfane Town Hall and all areas as outlined in the RFP.
Okay.
Did you say 11.6?
$11,600.
This is for the single bid for exterior painting, a proposed bid. And can I interest anyone to read this one?
I'll read it. This is also from Mamani Painters, and this is for the exterior, and they are bidding $12,800 to perform the following work on the exterior of Newfane Hall. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Do we want them to read the whole thing? Not
No,
really.
It's in the
No.
RFP.
I think it's, yeah, it'll be in the RFP.
Okay.
And this will then get turned over to the building committee
That's right,
to see if they are equal.
that's right. And I guess we'll be figuring out what to do.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so just for the record, these are the only bids that came in.
What was that put out the last meeting then probably or something?
It was put out, when were they put out?
17.
The April, well, they went out April 4th.
April 4th?
And they were,
I didn't know they were out to bid with it, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna give those to you.
they were sent to 6 different companies.
Yeah,
Surprising they're in town, but,
I know.
that's Mull, right? Mull
Yeah.
Mommy,
Yeah.
and they do good work.
Okay, now on to old business. To Green Lantern Solar contract.
One other item.
Oh, I'm
under
sorry.
New business. I
Oh.
will not be able to attend the June 1st meeting. I'll be away.
Oh. Okay. Now, we're going, thank you, Gary. Now we're going to talk about the Green Lantern Solar contract. And we'd like to get an update from Ralph. Hi.
Hi.
Could you come forward or
Sure.
I'll switch chairs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
so the camera can make sure they get you and I can
Recorded
hear
for
you?
posterity. So, thank you for bringing this up tonight. We've, over the past month, during the public review period of the lease, gone back and forth a couple of times with your attorney, Rich Carroll, and with Shannon and myself, simply making sure we had an updated version of the lease with responses to Rich's comments. We had no problem with any of them. They all got implemented. And then at the last minute, there was a bit of language that had to do with hazardous waste and liability that Rich was able to take a look at today. And we included in what,
Can you,
as far as Shannon and I know, we have a clean copy of the lease that's ready for signature at this point.
it's right here?
That's right, yep. So everything that we could think of has been corrected, inserted. There is one section at the end which is the memorandum of lease, but that's left blank until we actually get our permits and financing. So what this basically does is it's a lease that's contingent on our receiving the necessary permits. And it gives us a green light to go through the full battery of design and we've applied for an interconnection with Green Mountain Power, but we have to complete anything as far as the interconnection is concerned, and basically put together the permit application, submit it to the Public Service Board, and hope that we get the necessary permits to go ahead with the project. So,
Now today, there was one question about the hazardous waste. How did that get resolved? I know that Rich Carroll, did he contact you or?
I contacted Rich with the language to make sure that there was no concerns on his part. He read the language, he said he had no concern,
Okay,
especially in light of the fact that it said it's a closed landfill and there were no findings over the past 20 years.
right.
So
that was just happened today?
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we got that little piece in before the meeting today.
Yep, so
I
it
also-
got added in and it was okayed by Rich
Okay.
too. So.
I
And you
also
ha-
spoke
I'm
to
sorry.
Rich today.
And you have that, sorry, you have that in writing?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Gary.
I also spoke to Rich today, and he assured me that we have met our requirement to ensure that we are getting the best deal for the citizens of Newfane.
Excellent, excellent.
So
Thank you,
we're all
Gary.
clear on that.
Yeah, great job. All right. So, we have an approval. We did post this and advertised it in the newspaper and on our website for 30 days. And we had no one contact us. No one even made a comment. And we've been talking to you now for several months about this. And we had it open several times. And no one else really seriously came forward with. So, I'd like a motion.
I make a motion, we sign the
I
contract.
second.
Okay, it's happening with, there you go. So we have a motion to sign the land lease agreement with Green Lantern Solar. Any further discussion?
Well, since we haven't actually read the lease,
I know, but it would take us days to read this.
I think
please.
there are a few changes from the one that you have read.
Okay.
So-
Would you rather that then it be postponed again?
No, if Rich says it's okay,
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm,
we're all in agreement on the first copy with the changes
that's right.
regarding hazardous materials.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the only changes were the ones that Rich laid out,
Yep.
paragraph by paragraph.
Right.
Those were all implemented exactly as he asked them to be. And then the only other change was the hazardous materials, which he also okayed today.
I mean, we
Okay.
could read it word for word for the audience.
Would you
But I
like
don't-
us to read it to you word for word?
No.
Audience.
I'll bet you probably have to do it all.
It is
Call the question.
many pages long.
No, like you said, we advertised it.
Yep.
We had other solar companies come and thought they were gonna do something.
Mhm.
You know, he's been right here from the start,
Yeah.
telling us what he's gonna give, and, you know, like I said, so far it's been costing the town $4,000 or $5,000 a year, never gonna start getting money back off it.
Mhm.
And,
I think it's a good thing to put it to use.
yes.
Thanks.
Rick.
One thing I just wanted to mention too is that there will still be multiple opportunities for public input and influence in the process, because when we put our whole CPG application together, we will issue a 45-day notice, which will go to the town, the regional commission, and all the abutters, and public service, and the Department of, or rather, Public Service Board, and A&R, and agriculture, and so forth. They will have 45 days to review the material, and then the PSB can call a technical hearing if they want to. Then when we submit the CPG application, there's even more opportunity for public input. We cover every base that you can imagine. So this is not a point of no return. It's just a very important sort of milestone toward our being able to put together the application.
Thank you for clearing that up. That's helpful to me as well. I just want to double check that my little pet peeve is in here, and that is that the citizens of Newfane get first opportunity to buy into this. That is in here. Is that correct?
I don't believe so.
Really?
Did we? I'd have to check it. If it's anywhere, it's on the first page.
Okay, let's read the first page.
But even if it's not, that's what we intend to do. Please do.
Okay.
Take a look.
Would someone like to read this?
No, go ahead, your pet peeve.
Let's just scan through it.
What did you say?
It's not your pet. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
actually, it is my pet.
Yeah, why don't
I've
you
talked
just
about it
scan
several
for it?
times. It's very important to have in here. Did you want to?
No, I'm just scanning through it to see if it's here. It doesn't say that. I thought that when we brought that up the last time, it was said it was automatically going to be put in, and that Rich Carroll was going to add
It
that
might be
in.
more than the first page.
Mhm.
You
December.
know,
I can fix it real quick.
sure, if you,
Yeah.
that's fine, because that's an oversight that may be my fault, because we don't usually put that in the lease
I know, you
itself.
don't usually, but it's important, I think.
But I think I'm very happy to put it in, and the other thing is that we are, at this point, only looking at that particular way forward.
Right, that's
the-
it.
The community,
Exactly. I think we discussed this months ago. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure exactly when.
Well, it was also when you were absent one night because you were ill, we made sure when you were here to state that that was one of the things that Carol wanted to make sure that was in it.
Yeah, I think it's very important for the citizens who live here to have first dibs, so to speak, first opportunity should they like to buy into this program.
But we were saying right of first opportunity,
Right,
not
right of
exclusive right.
That's right, absolutely.
Right. Right of
I
first
think it was
refusal.
it 30 days or was it 90 days? I forgot.
I think we would do at least 90 days.
I think that was it, yeah.
It takes time to get the word out.
Okay, so
All right, so
with
after
that
sorry.
correction, we're going to be happy to sign this, but until
What'd
it's
you say,
in, I'm
Shannon?
not too happy to sign it.
I just need the sentence that needs to be put in.
I'm sorry, what did
She
you say?
needs
no,
the
no, put it-
sentence that needs to be put in.
Oh my goodness, when did we put,
Right of first opportunity
that was it.
shall be offered to the citizens of Newfane. Or residents or property owners.
That wasn't on TV.
Probably property owners.
Property owners work best, yes.
Okay, now I'm just gonna figure out where to put it and we'll be done.
Is that acceptable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, it was in the option to lease, that's why I was
Oh,
just
that's
assumed it
right.
had carried over. Because it says,
It wasn't.
Well, I'm really glad that I brought that up.
yeah, it says, in the event it exercises its option and that the parties enter into a lease agreement, the lease agreement shall, at the town's option, provide that the town will have the first opportunity to purchase discounted net metering credits. So that was the town, but I guess it could be extended to citizens.
All right, sounds good. It says right here. I'll read this whole section 2 operations term, just so that we're all on board. The operating term of this agreement, the operations term, shall be 20 years, commencing on the commencement of commercial operations of the solar array, the commencement date, and expiring on the 20th anniversary of the commencement date. Unless otherwise terminated at an earlier date in accordance with the terms of this agreement. Tenant shall provide to owner written notice of the commencement date. Provided tenant is not in default of the terms of this lease, tenant shall have 3 options to extend this lease. Each option being for a term of 5 years, each a renewal term. Tenant shall exercise such extension option, if at all, by giving written notice to owner not more than 12 months nor less than 3 months prior to the expiration of the then current term of the lease. Right of first opportunity shall be offered to Newfane property owners.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Do we still have a motion? The motion is in effect?
Yeah.
All right. So, all those in favor?
If you are a renter, you have to hope or rely on the landlord, who may or may not be an owner, to get that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right,
This
so.
really wouldn't be appropriate for renters anyway.
Right.
No,
You'd need to be a property owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as long
yes.
as it could work for renters, because they may have an electric bill
Mhm.
with an account number, and then they can join the net metering group.
Right.
That's my point, is that renters in certain localities would have options as to, for New York City, you can sign up with Con Ed, or you can use Con Ed's wires to get solar power from somewhere else.
If the renter moved out,
Discussion.
then who is responsible for the ongoing costs of the system that they purchased?
Well, the thing is, and we're getting now into the community solar business model, but in the business model, members of a community solar array buy the panels and own them, and they can therefore enjoy the investment tax credits and the net metering credits, and the net metering credits are applied to their electric bill if they're a GMP ratepayer. If they're a renter, they may still have an electric bill with an account number. And if they own those panels, they can apply the net metering credits to their electric bill, regardless of whether they own the property that they live in or not. So this is something that would be available to renters almost to the same extent as it would be to property owners.
So would we want to change this to say Newfane ratepayers?
I'm not necessarily in favor of that, but do we have a discussion? Does anybody else want to change it?
How about to the
What about
community?
Newfane residents? What about Newfane
Well,
residents?
because if they're out of state, but they still have an electric bill and they own a home,
Newfane residents and homeowners? Newfane
Well, homeowners, assumes residents are property owners.
Property owners.
property owners
But renters,
and renters.
see, we need to, but all these people are ultimately ratepayers,
Exactly.
and that covers everyone. So, Newfane ratepayers.
As is it my understanding that the property owner, should they sell the home, then that is also, the property owner, the person who buys that property is now also buying that. No.
Because the panels that are owned by the member of the community array are their private property, their personal property, but they're not attached to the house itself. So those panels could be separately sold, transferred, bequeathed, donated to anybody else who. The basic requirement to be able to use them is that you're a Green Mountain Power ratepayer. Could
So
even be
if
in some other part of the state.
So if a renter decided to move to Las Vegas, and now what happens to that relationship?
Well, they'd have to sell because they'll be out of GMP territory, so they can't really use the credits anymore. But somebody could, so they
That's it.
they could sell those panels to somebody else, or give them.
It's a multi-layered. There's the right to participate. That's what we're talking about first, is the right to participate. And that we initially said need to be property owners. Now we're discussing that it would need to be a Green Mountain or a ratepayer.
Living in the town, within the boundaries
Within the
of
boundaries
the
of
town.
town Newfane, yes. Now, then there's, what we're talking about now is if they move away, what about that responsibility? That's another piece. That is in their business
I know.
model,
Right,
not
that's it.
ours.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we would only want to establish who can participate. And from that point on, it
Well,
becomes part
who-
of their business.
Well, who has the opportunity to,
Oh, I
Right.
almost think if you left it at the Newfane property owners, the guy who renting, probably could go through the owner.
Mhm.
You know, they could probably get the same deal, but the guy who owns it probably wouldn't care, you know, 'cause he's not getting an electric bill anyways, you know?
and you're only talking about who gets first opportunity.
it's just the first opportunity.
Newfane renter.
This is just so that when this goes up eventually, we don't get huge corporations saying, I'm gonna buy the whole thing. I mean, that probably never happens, but I just want to make sure that the people of Newfane have first dibs, have the right of the first opportunity, and, then it's fine. And
So then we were discussing who are the people of
that's
Newfane.
it. Who are the people of Newfane who would have the first right of opportunity?
Well, you said people who use Green Mountain Power.
Yeah, because if you don't have a Green Mountain Power bill, then you can't enjoy
Right.
the benefits.
All right, Ken?
So could you argue though that the word ratepayers would be the most inclusive of the possibilities that we've discussed? So that my sense is that given what your emphasis is one I also agree with, that it's as inclusive as possible, that ratepayers would be the largest category,
Mhm.
including property owners, renters,
Businesses.
businesses.
Has the potential of a huge bureaucracy.
So you have an amendment on the floor now to change the proposal to include the term property owner. So we need to probably either modify that amendment, if acceptable to the board, or vote that amendment, let it go up or down, and then move from there perhaps for a second amendment for ratepayers.
This is just getting so complicated.
It's
All right.
complicated business.
Okay, well, I think we should vote on the motion, the amended motion that I read, up or down, and then we can see what happens next.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to be moving to vote, and the motion, I forgot what it was now. It was to accept the land lease agreement.
No, you're voting on the amendment.
Oh, we're only voting on the amendment.
Only on the amendment for the language that we just
What was
changed.
the language of the amendment? That the first right of opportunity shall be offered to Newfane property owners.
Yes.
And we have a second?
You've already got that.
Second? All right, all those in favor of voting for this particular amendment, please do so by saying aye. Aye.
I abstained, I wasn't on the board with any of it.
Okay.
So
All right, so we have so
I
far,
would vote nay.
okay, so far it passes with 3-1 and 1 abstention.
3-1.
Well, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you vote?
I voted nay because I think it's better termed as if it were ratepayer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So is there any,
You've already passed the.
we already did, it's
Yeah.
over.
Now you're back to the motion. Now
Okay.
you're back to the main motion.
Yeah, this is hard work. All right, so I need a motion to accept the land lease agreement from Green Lantern Solar.
So be it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Gary seconded. All those in favor, please, to approve this, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So we have
I
four.
abstained.
We have 4 in favor and 1 abstention. All right, we will be signing this. Thank you very much, Ralph.
Can I just make a final statement? Thank you all very much for your patience and your curiosity about how all this works, and your graciousness in the process. And whenever any questions come up, or people put questions to you about this that you can't answer, don't hesitate for a second to send them my way. I just live down the road in Brattleboro. We're doing some other projects in the area that are similar, so it's exciting to be starting this project on your landfill. But like as I said, if there are any questions, just contact me.
Thank
I'd
you
like
so
to
much.
thank you because you've been coming to meeting after meeting after meeting, and you have always represented yourself as a very responsible and caring person about this project and about us as a select board. You've been very respectful to us while we had to work things out at sometimes and wonder if other people were going to come along, and so I really appreciate how you've been, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
My pleasure. But
Thank
this
you
is
very
just
much.
the beginning.
Just to begin.
We've only just begun.
Yeah.
Photons or electrons?
No, whatever else.
Are we passing? Are we
I
signing it?
don't see any sign pages on there.
I need one signature and then it has to be notarized. And
Ah.
we'll
So
do
you
that
sign.
later.
I'm actually not seeing where that one signature is. Do you know what page it's on?
We can do it.
It says
later.
in witness of and plant.
Yeah, we can do it later.
We'll do this later. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, we're moving right along. Thank you, board. Thank you for working together. We need an update about the open and accepting town committee, and we have Ken here to give us an update.
Yes. So, Apple Gifford,
Oh,
David Harlow, Maud Polo, and those 3 have agreed to serve on the committee. And I submitted those names to Shannon a week ago. And our first meeting would be April 27th. That's a Thursday at 5:30 to be held here at the town office. And one other detail, Rick Ricard contacted me today and indicated that he would like to join the committee. So I don't know what the protocols are, or, rules, et cetera, but is it possible for him to make that phone call to me and to add his name to the committee
Yeah,
today?
because you're giving them the names and they can just choose
Sure.
to.
There we are.
Sounds great.
So those other three came in, over the,
Earlier,
Okay.
right, and now Rick has indicated an interest in.
so
It's a
you
good number,
definitely
too,
have a
5.
quorum. That's
So
a
that would
nice
put us at
size.
5,
Yeah.
including my role. So we will, on April 27th, that Thursday, have the organizational meeting, and then we'll go right into the first meeting and schedule our meetings at that point, and
Where are you meeting?
would meet here.
Okay.
And so Shannon has indicated that it would be open to meet here, and so I'll get the details about the building, and probably 5:30 someone's here anyway, so
Rick Ricard, is that fellow up on Newfane Hill Road?
I believe so.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
Edward Richards, something like that.
That's what he calls himself, Rick
Yeah, he
Ricard.
calls himself Rick.
Yeah, that's the name I have, is Rick Ricard.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds actually very exciting that it didn't take you very long to rustle the bushes and get some really good people to come and help you.
Yes, very pleased. I did also reach out to, as I had said I would, to the fire department, to Newbrook Fire Department, and no response yet from them, but nonetheless, we do have a committee. And
Well, I like the idea that you're basically just defining the focus and, clarifying what this committee is all about. Defining
Right.
yourself, and
Right, to define what we mean by welcome and protect,
that's it.
and to spend time discussing that, and to work out those definitions and present that to the select board along with recommendations.
Well, you're not a regulatory commission, so you can have really as many people
That's right.
as you want. The 5 of you essentially form the dais to make motions and run the meetings, but you could have 20 people
Absolutely.
or more.
And I hope
Absolutely.
that you keep us all posted
Yes.
as to what's happening.
Right, we'll be, doing like every other committee, with minutes and with, postings and.
Sounds
So-
great. Thank you so much, Ken.
Sure.
Can you formally appoint them as a committee?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to appoint them as,
Motion to
I don't
ex-
have their names written down, so.
There's motion to accept the slate of committee members as proposed, as submitted.
We have a second?
A second.
Okay, Marianne, seconds. All right, all those in favor of approving those slate of Newfaners to be on the open and accepting committee, or whatever it shall be called in the future, please say aye. Aye. All those not in favor, please say no.
No.
No,
Okay, so we have ayes carry it with 3-2. So those people are. Okay. Thank you very much, Ken.
You're welcome.
All right, moving right along. Now we have the recycling committee. And we have a little bit of, we have an update, and we have a little bit of a different thing. We have nobody here to talk to us about the committee. We have,
Well, Mike was at the meeting, so he can.
Mike, were you at the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, you were at the meeting. Oh, good. All right. So Mike, could you please?
No, all we really talked about was just seeing if they could get some pricing on what it would cost to get the containers in, and then you're gonna have to try to find a place to put it, Other than that, not much anything else. She's gonna send out a thing to have people give some pricing. But, it's not in the budget anyways, I don't think, for that kind of stuff yet, is it?
Well, all we have is money for haulage right now.
Well, we're still gonna have to pay Wyndham Solid Waste, we're still gonna be a
Yeah.
member, and the only number that's budgeted is that number.
So, we have to come up with a plan before July 1.
Yeah. Well, that was their
Well,
idea,
a
just
free
get some
plan.
pricing, but,
Because there's no budget, that was.
I mean, it's gonna go up no matter how you look at it. It's,
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be privately hauled, so it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up considerably. And just the prices she had like an estimate, you kind of figured it out, it's not cheap.
No. Did she also mention what the plan was gonna be for the containers?
They're going away.
'Cause
Containers, so you're gonna have to hire somebody else. At one time, I think they thought of selling them or giving them to the town, but I don't think that's the plan now. I think they're planning on keeping their equipment for a year or so.
Mhm.
Anyways,
So they're still, I mean, I went to the meeting at the fire hall, and they were still in jello at that time. And I think that's part of what Johanna's frustration has been, is that they weren't able to come to decisions on anything that seemed to be in the interest of the towns.
I think we all got, on our emails, a letter from Johanna.
No,
You didn't get this one?
no.
Did Chris
Oh, I
get a
got
copy?
the email with,
Yeah, he got a copy.
with all the expenses that she was.
No, I sent it out today.
Oh.
This
No,
one?
it's-
At what time did you send
Shit.
it?
I don't know.
We also have another
So it's
email
now. I
sent.
would go home and it's on my email.
We also have another email sent from, or a letter sent, was this email or a letter?
That was the email.
This one was, it was actually, sent to Shannon and all of
Oh,
us.
that's the one
This is
that
the
I
one.
got.
Yeah, just the letter was only sent to
It
me.
had a
I
letter
see.
and then it had a proposal, a request for quotes for trash hauling, disposal, and recycling services. And I kind of wanted to address that in the fact that the committee, we gave a charge to the recycling committee. And the charge was that it said, the recycling committee, the board discussed Johanna Gardner's town meeting presentation and the future of recycling. As a result, the citizens asked for a committee to be formed. A motion was made by Gary to form a recycling committee to study alternatives available for continuing recycling in Newfane. The motion was seconded by Marion, and the motion carried unanimously. So actually, the charge is to study alternatives that are available for continuing recycling in Newfane. And that was the charge. And instead of coming up with, RFQ, as she says, and sending it out, and we have Johanna requesting to do that without a vote on her committee for that. So it's a little bit,
well, there was only 3 of us at the meeting.
right, but you do make it's a majority of the 3 of you.
Well, they're not even a committee yet.
They're not really
Right,
even
I
a
mean,
committee
they-
yet. It's
They
kind
couldn't
of,
have done that in one meeting.
and then to even muddy the waters further, we do have Johanna sending in a letter of resignation
Not
Not
from this
for us.
committee, but
Yes.
from Wyndham Solid Waste.
from Wyndham Solid Waste. So it's kind of up in the air. Did we want to read any of these?
Well, it's not to us.
Well, has she resigned her position then?
She
Not on the
resigned from Wyndham Solid Waste
Yeah.
as the rep. You have 2 issues going on right now.
Right, so I mean, that's what you got, it's a rep.
So
And
we-
she's our rep, so now we don't have no rep on the.
That's
Women's
right.
Solid Waste.
Me, I'm the
So
alternate.
we have that, and then we have, she's not here, she's on vacation, so we're really kind of up in the air about what to do about this. Do I have any suggestions?
Well, I think the problem is you've got 2 months to settle $100,000 expense, and you have no idea where you're going. Wyndham Solid has hired a auction firm for $27,500 and 15% to the buyers.
Right.
So everything is up for sale. Nothing is up apparently to be kept, to be leased, to be rented. We're naked.
the only thing that's different, Gunther, from what they presented at Newbrook was it's only the recycling machine that's gonna be sold off. The rest of the facility will remain and do the same job that it's doing. Now, that's where they were as of 2 weeks ago.
Wasn't there an article in the paper today?
About the auction, but that is on the equipment.
Right.
That's the trucks and all that.
Right. Now,
I'm not sure if it includes the trucks.
the thing is, if they sell everything, where are we gonna dump our trash for
Right.
25, for those tags we're gonna get?
So you'll still be able to do that at Wyndham County in Brattleboro,
Right.
as will your haulers. It's the recycling process that's gonna go away.
Right.
Well, they're still gonna take recycling, they're just gonna truck it away.
They're gonna send it to somebody else. It's their building doing that recycling. The one that goes tink and the glass comes flying out and
Now,
that sort of thing.
if we're under the illusion that we can run this here, forget it. You're gonna have to fence the dump thing in. You have to have a permanent door. You have to have 24-hour help.
Yep.
It's gonna cost you $100,000.
Mhm.
And there, you don't know from month to month what's gonna happen.
We've been waiting for a resolution from Wyndham Solid Waste for how many months?
Well, it's just like they said down there, that $20 tag you're talking about, whatever it is, that's gonna go up too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because if they start paying $55, $60 a ton to get rid of it,
Yep.
that's not gonna cut it no more. So I mean, they're not gonna lose money. It's gonna go up, and really the only way to really do it is gonna be private haulers, I mean, everybody's gonna
Or
have to.
drive it yourself,
Huh?
or drive it yourself.
Yeah, take it somewhere, you can take it to Triple T, you can take it to Good Now, you can take it to anybody who's doing recycling, or
You mean-
whatever.
Mhm.
You mean,
But it's gonna cost you when you go down to them places, just like Triple T or any of them, you
Yep.
go across the scale. You get weighed up, whatever, it's so much a ton, and they figure it out what that thing weighs, and that's what it is, if it comes out $5 or $20.
Shannon, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I do. So I sort of pictured the committee being more of a long-term committee to watch and see what happens as July 1 comes, to see what happens to the market, because I highly suspect that once the private market has this, like you said, prices are gonna skyrocket. So I never pictured the committee to be a committee that was done by July 1st that had been sitting here because A, it wasn't budgeted, and it was a non-binding vote with
Mhm.
no money attached, so I don't really see how they could do that. But I more pictured it as a long-term committee to really research what's happening, how residents are dealing with the fact that there isn't a bin sitting there.
Just study alternative way.
I agree with Shannon.
Yeah, just
Frankly,
study
too.
alternatives, that are available or that are feasible, and costs, and what the citizens need. I think once they take these bins away, people are going to wonder. They're going to have to come up with a plan. They're going to think, okay, I'm going to have somebody come up Newfane Hill on Wednesdays and pick up the recycling, or whenever they do, and or I'm going to have to drive it down myself. Isn't there going to be a recycling bin at Wyndham?
Sure.
Yes.
Same service. as
Same
Wyndham
service, I
Valley.
just pay. Instead of just throwing it in for free, other than I'll have to pay.
And that's what our appropriation to Wyndham Solid Waste Management goes for.
Allows us, that's right, to do that.
Yeah.
Along with, they
We've
do all the
got-
state permitting for us so that we don't have to. They do all the education for us so that we won't have to.
Mhm.
And they do all of the state reporting that we would have to do if we didn't belong. So there are still services they're providing.
I mean, we've got a preview right now out there because the bins are full.
Yeah.
Have been full all day.
Yeah.
How much other garbage piled up since this morning?
Mhm.
Because I drove in there, I didn't find a space, I took it back home. 2 other people came up behind me, but I came here. So I didn't check what they were doing. But I bet you there's a couple of bags of stuff outside the bins. They're shut, the bins are shut. So
I agree with Shannon that I think the committee is basically the charge of the committee, if we ever get around to that, would be to study the effects of this whole move on our citizens here in Newfane, and also to even get feedback from them, even if it takes a survey card or something that we mail to everybody and say, our committee has come up with XYZ, which one would meet your needs, and what feedback can you tell us so that we can make good decisions.
Well,
So-
there's only two choices. I mean, either the town does it and puts it on the taxpayers, or they go to private haulers. And if you put it on the taxpayers, you don't know how much it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost, and that's what I told her the other night to me, because she said, well, we have to do a whole transfer station and all that. I said, well, you're looking at full-time attendants, you're looking at insurances going in, you got the dumping fees, everything. You're gonna have, somebody's gonna handle the money every time everybody comes in and pays this. So you got more office help. I mean, you're looking at a lot more payroll. And
It's
it's
a
a
much
big
bigger
expense.
issue.
I mean, it's not 100,000, you're looking at probably 250 or better, before you're all done, just to keep up with all the stuff. And I said, why do they want to do that,
And there's also the option too that was brought up of going together with other towns, and sharing in costs.
It's still so much a ton, no matter how you look at
That's
it.
It is.
And no matter how it goes, I don't care how many people share it with. I mean, there were some options thrown out, but, I don't really want to talk about the whole thing like that, because I was part of it. And I've told you guys somewhat a little bit about it, but I mean, and that's what I say, there's something like that you could do, but it's done by private people, And, that's the only thing. Other than that, it's just gonna cost the town a lot of money. There's no really other options. And, I mean, this place down here, you can go down and fight all you want, try to keep it. They don't want it, because it's not feasible anymore. Why it was feasible before is, like I said, when we closed our landfills down, it was an option. It was a good time for them to step up the plate. They made pretty good money off it, and everything else they did. They offered it as a recycle to get people so they didn't throw in all the garbage here and there. And that option's gone away, because now it's mandatory and you gotta get rid of it. And it's a business. People are not gonna do it for nothing.
Be interesting to check with Townsend, because they've been collecting garbage twice a week. You buy a bag for $2.50 and you put it in their truck on Wednesday and Saturday. They also have the recycle bins. It'd be interesting to see what they're planning, if anything, or just shut the thing down.
Yeah, the transfer station people, like Townsend
And Dover,
in Dover, they have a different program than we have. We're just containers. And so they still have their program in place, and they have a lot more flexibility than we have, because they have a processing center there. We only have the containers. And that makes it much more difficult, because we don't have any processing facility. We have the wind, which does a pretty good job of sorting things out into the trees, but that's really it. And we're gonna have to make a decision by July 1st, what we're gonna do, or it really is gonna start to pile up. And as of the meeting at Newbrook, they were still on the fence as to whether they were gonna give the containers to those people who were doing just the containers like us, or whether they were going to rent them to us. And now it sounds like they're gonna pull them, and we have to find our own. Those are gonna be very expensive themselves.
Well, the companies that have it, the private haulers, have the containers too. And they lease them so much a month.
And that's another option. How much do we buy from a private hauler?
But you
Just
can't
pick up?
do that this year because you have no budget for it.
We'd have to go back to for a special town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, all your garbage haulers, anybody that's hauling garbage has to offer recycling too. And that's what I said, it's just like, my garbage guy takes a recycling.
Right,
And
every other week.
it's like $9, $10 more a month or something like that.
Every other week.
well, and we drive our recycling in to Brattleboro.
We drive everything into
Yeah,
Brattleboro.
we do too.
I would just caution about doing a special town meeting before July 1, because there's no way you can give them an accurate number. And I would hate to have them vote on a number that they think they're gonna be paying, and then find out after July 1 when the price is double, that we don't have it. I
Well, that's what
really
she
have
was
to-
trying to do with like that paper, if anything, is just try to get a rough idea, or kind of like a lockdown price, what it would cost. But
That's the fence we've been sitting on.
Right. I think
Well,
it's
we
gonna be
really don't have
hard
any way to
until it
make a good
happens.
decision because we don't know what the costs are gonna be.
And I don't think they know yet until they're doing it, how much their costs are
well,
gonna
you already paid this other outfit 20-some thousand a year, right? Waste management, anyways,
be.
or 30, whatever it is. So then you got that. So then if you hire somebody else, you got that cost on top of the 30,000 you're already putting out.
And it's not budgeted. That is the dilemma. So, all right,
So we-
worst case scenario, they come and on July 1st, they drive up and they drive those things and they take them away. And we've obviously told our citizens that this is the eventual, this may happen. And we formed a committee and we gave a charge to the committee. However, there was no money associated with this committee. This committee was just to do research. And we formed that committee to come up with a plan. Well, this plan doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. So, worst case scenario, people have to drive it in themselves, get their neighbors to drive it in. If they don't drive a car, I have a neighbor who doesn't drive, or pay for somebody to come by and pick it up. And it's like almost neighbor help neighbor to get this job done. At this point, unless some miracle happens and we get this committee to actually bring an idea, and we have special,
I don't know what other kind of idea you're looking for.
I know.
well, an
I mean, what are
idea.
you kind of looking for? The only idea is
Yeah, there's no-
these are
Right.
going away, and it's going
But-
to cost somebody some money. Either you put it on the
We-
taxpayers, or each everybody else is going to pay their own way. You know,
Right.
that's what it's
So
really
we
down
have
to.
to figure out what are we going to do.
Well, that's what we formed the committee for.
I know,
And
but
think
the
we wait
committees-
with great anticipation for them to have a chance. We gotta give them time to do the
Right.
Oh,
work.
absolutely.
I mean, the only other thing would be if you did get the things in like that, you'd have to have, like you said, attendants. Somebody's going to have to charge people to bring it in there.
Yep.
The only way it's going to have to kind of pay for itself, I would think.
Or every citizen who's a member of the recycling, picks up a card, a swipe card, and there's a lock on the gate. You swipe your card, it opens the gate, you go in, you dump your stuff, and then you go out. At least we know who was there and at what time.
But dump them where? If the bins
Into
are being
the
taken.
bins. You
But
have-
if they're
you
being
still have to-
taken away.
But you still have to have a way to recycle.
I know, but
That was actually an
It's a
idea.
pay-as-you-go.
Yeah, an idea that I had thought about. As you go into an airport and you want to park your car, you get a card that pops out, and you go in there. Well, we would have something like the town clerk, perhaps, is another idea. Who you would get the homeowner would come in or the person living here would come in and buy a recycling card with your name on it.
Right.
And it's electronic, and you stick it in the thing, and the thing goes up, and you go in and you dump your recycling.
So that means that people who are coming down Route 30 from the mountains,
Would have no place
they
to
have no
dump it.
place to dump theirs, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things we did talk about, the lock thing like that. But I mean, like I said, you'd buy that card for $100,
Yep.
$90 for the year. It's got your name on it. You go in, you do it. I mean, that way it takes a lot of the accounting out of it. But then now you got a fence. You got the electric components for all that stuff. I mean, there's probably not 30,000, just 30, 40,000 in just fence
Yep.
and the gate. And then like I said, you got all the other stuff in there. Somebody gotta still have somebody go and keep it cleaned up. I mean, it's not cheap, no matter how you do it. I said it's either that or the other solution is everybody hires their own carrier.
you still
But
have
we
to
heard loud
have
and
somebody
clear.
pick it up.
Yeah, we did hear loud and clear at town meeting that the citizens want to continue to have public recycling. Such as we have here but maybe not exactly the same place.
I don't think
Yeah,
they're quite
other
hearing
thing-
the expenses though.
Right.
If rumors are true, you're not gonna have any place to put bins, because allegedly that property is sold to somebody.
Well, it's not sold to anyone yet,
That has not,
Oh, it's in
that decision has
discussion.
not been
Yeah.
made.
I mean,
but that's executive session.
I tell you what, tell you the truth, I think that's more of an issue for the town of Newfane, not to sell that in the garbage. I'd rather see the garbage go away than not transfer that land and sell that, because that business goes down the road. That's a lot more important than losing a couple of garbage bins. I
But
mean,
that's-
we have places, other places, if you had to, you can make another spot, or, because like I said, if it does do that, we're gonna swap back and forth. And you can put them back out here, out back. But, I mean, we discussed that whole land thing, and it's not no secret. He don't want it to be a secret. But my whole thing on that, and I think I think it's very important to sell that piece of property to them.
He's got permitting issues right now that he's working on.
I'm sure there is, but anything to do with the state's an issue.
But that's under executive session, so we can't really talk about that, because we are
Well,
under
it's known
executive.
fact, everybody, and like I said, he don't want nothing hid on that, and he said that right along too, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think we're trying to.
To go back to this, the only change I would make to what Johanna has given us is change RFQ to RFI, request for information, rather than request for quotation, because we're not going to award necessarily based on what she sends out.
We don't have any money to award
That's
anything
correct.
for anything,
But we need
anyway.
to know what the costs are, and they are on the right track. I think. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, she's already got some prices from one outfit anyway, so I mean, if you wanted a budgeted price, you could go by that to look at it.
I like that idea.
But that isn't the whole thing, like I said, you gotta come up with fencing, you're gonna have to come up with making this, whatever, you know, the gates.
But it does give us a price on what's in here. It gives us the information that we're looking for in here, in her letter.
So are we clear that, or not, that Johanna's going to stay on this committee and work with the town?
Did she
She's
say?
staying on the committee to work with the town. She has resigned as Newfane's rep to Wheaton.
And as soon as we're
Solid
finished
Waste
with this discussion, we're going to be bringing that issue up. Are we finished with this discussion? Okay, we have a motion to send out her RFQ as an RFI, seeking information that would be helpful on prices and other such things that she had written in her
Does
document.
it talk about awarding anything?
Do we need
I
it?
haven't seen the documents. Does it talk about an
I thought we
award?
all got one. We didn't get it?
Yeah, she sent it to all board
Yeah,
Yeah,
members.
we got it. It's right here.
It was an
You
attachment
got it on
email
your email.
that she sent.
Well, let's try to save time.
Now, this says, since Swindler County Solid Waste Management District is loaning the district-owned recycling roll-off containers to member towns. Did
No,
that
that's-
change?
No, I don't think that's true.
The loan one, I haven't heard of it.
No, I haven't heard that either.
Well, she was on their board, and I know that this was something that was discussed at the meeting with Wyndham Regional.
I think we'd have to check.
Okay. You should verify that.
Are you still staying on the committee?
She didn't say nothing about no other meetings, so I don't know when they have planned. I've only been that one anyway, so. Yeah, let's get on it.
I'd really want you to if you could.
Well, he said it really wasn't a lot of the meeting anyway, doing that.
There's a bid process, but there's no mention of an award. There's a vendor selection section. Okay, selection of requested services will be awarded to the most responsive and responsible bidder offering a price and services deemed to be in the best interest of the town of Newfane. So we need to modify that. She'll need to modify that. That this is for information only at this stage. And that could be, we can award off of request for information. We have to say, though, that we retain that right.
Gary, would you be able to meet with Shannon and
Sure.
clean that up, and then we could
Yeah.
actually take a look at that
Yeah.
once you're
That'd be
finished?
fine. That's the section I'm concerned about.
Not tonight, of course.
No,
All right. Are we finished with this part of the discussion? Okay. All right, moving right along to Johanna's resignation as our representative to Wyndham Solid Waste Management Board of Supervisors. So we will need to be beating the bushes, so to speak, to award that, ask for another representative to represent us to the Board of Supervisors. So that's something we need to be thinking about and working toward. In the meantime, we're very lucky to have an alternate who is still willing, not to meet all the time, but to represent us, and that is Shannon Eckel. She is the alternate. Shannon, can you speak to that a little bit about what you can and cannot do with that?
I make a great alternate because I can go to meetings when other people are away, but I'm not really able to go to all
Right.
of the meetings that they have because I have quite a few.
Right.
could you serve until we could find someone else? Yeah.
Perhaps.
Well, I'm leaving for vacation next week, so I'm hoping that there is not a meeting.
Yeah, I'm wondering when their next meeting is. you know.
So I don't, so depending on what their meeting schedule is, I'm happy to fill in until.
When you can.
Yeah.
That's good. And how do we know what their meeting schedule is? Do they send us an
Yeah, so they'll send
announcement?
the representative and the alternate the agenda the week before, so.
Did they meet on a regular schedule?
I think recently they've been meeting more than normal because of everything going on. Normally, yes, I don't know what that schedule is.
So that we'll be talking more about that at our next meeting, coming up with somebody. So be thinking about if you know of anybody who really has a heart for recycling and really wants to serve our community by representing us at the Board of Supervisors meetings, please let Shannon know and have them contact Shannon. Okay. All right, it does appear that we are, correspondence.
No,
No? Oh, I'm sorry, animal control issues. Update. Sorry, Marion.
okay. This is going to be quick because it's late and maybe I can continue at the next meeting. But I did meet with Mike Young last week. He came over to the house and he had been to West Street a few times already in the last few weeks, and also I think he came to visit you, right?
I don't have a dog.
No, but he said he came up to talk to you about.
Oh, you may have missed it then. But-
Oh, okay. Well, he did go up, I think, maybe to talk about the dispenser.
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Bob talked about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And basically what's happened is that it still continues that a lot of residents and non-residents are not picking up after their dogs. And it's really become a disgraceful situation in Newfane, and in some businesses too, where business owners have told me and employees have told me that their dogs are allowed on the property, but then they bring their dogs on the property and they don't pick after them on these beautiful private properties. So we have a few things that we have planned to discuss with the board, and that is, first of all, having some signage put up around the village in various places, requesting that please people pick up after their dogs, and also notifying people that there will be a fine if they don't. And I have been stopping everybody that I see with dogs and telling them that is going to happen. And I've also asked other people to spread the word. Mike has gone to some other houses where dogs are still running loose, and he's talked to them again, and they apologize. But the problem right now, Shannon, is that we've told people that there will be a fine, but we still don't know what the amount.
It's in the ordinance.
It's actually listed in there.
So Mike has that information, okay. Also, we want to with the board's permission, we would like to create a flyer and put it under everybody's door who's in the village. I'm happy to do that. He actually did catch somebody, not catch somebody, but he had come on this West Street recently, and while he was parking his car, a dog owner of a large dog was allowing that dog to relieve himself and then walked away. But Mike did get out of the car and follow that person and talk to him. But it's a difficult situation. Gary had thought maybe we should put some cameras in trees. Mike was thinking maybe that we could keep that idea in mind, but first go through the other things in terms of putting up some signage, if we have the budget to do so, putting out flyers, and just going around and talking to people. So that's where we're up to right now.
Thank you for sharing that. Sounds like you've made a lot of progress in gathering information. Yes. Yes.
It sounds to me that this is more of a village problem,
Yes.
and the village has their own rules in the village instead of a select board problem.
Well, you're right in one way, but there's another problem with that, and that is that people who do not live in the village, and there are several people in Newfane, but also Townsend, they drive their cars to Newfane, park in front of the church, and walk their dogs around the village because it's a lovely walk, which you don't have, in areas where there's no sidewalks. And so it becomes more of a village problem. I mean, I've been in communication with Chris Campany, who's a trustee of the village of Newfane. We've talked to Shannon about it. It's actually an ordinance of the town, and it's just unfortunate that there's a little space rather than bigger spaces. Like I asked Mike, well, what happens in the village of Williamsville? Do you have the same problem? And he said, well, no, we don't, because there are no sidewalks for people to walk on. And so I don't know if those dogs still go into properties. I mean, I have pictures that I'm not going to take, but I've taken pictures in the last week since our last select board meeting, where not only have dogs are going on the sidewalk in front of my house, but they have gone into the property along the driveway and gone right in the middle of our gardens. And I have pictures of that, and so what do? It's not just the village.
It's almost the same problem we have with recycling.
Right,
It's not just Newfane.
exactly.
I got a good sign that you could do it too. I'll tell you later. I'm looking for a
I
sign.
wouldn't even show you, maybe I'll show Ken, but I wouldn't even show you a sign that my daughter took a picture of in the last few weeks in Brooklyn, of a sign in Brooklyn, Carroll Gardens, around the corner from where she lives. You would die what people write on signs. I mean, it's unbelievable. We could not do this here. But
Even though the village has its own area, the town's ordinances supersede the village's ordinance. So if it's a town problem, the village they have their own, even though they have their own mechanism, we still have control, responsibility for that.
Another suggestion that's come up in the conversations with Mike is to see if, for example, Gary has offered that Fieldstone Lodge, which is a business, is offering to put, what would you call it, a dispenser?
Yeah, it's a signage with a plastic bag dispenser and then a garbage can, lined garbage can. It hangs on a post.
Right, and the village, Fieldstone Lodge as a business has offered to donate that to the village. We are going to ask other businesses in the village community if they also would want to sponsor and partly pay for these dispensers. If we had maybe 4 in the village, it might help. But, it is more than a village thing, and we're not forgetting about the village. I mean, we have our once a year meeting in May, our incorporated village meeting, where we all come together. And then the trustees meet a few other times, and that's going to be brought up too.
I'm pooped.
Yep.
Me too.
Speaking of that.
Me too.
Thank you very much for that and for the many suggestions, and I'm glad that
And Mike
our
is
animal
being great.
control
Yeah,
officer is helping out,
absolutely.
and we need to move on because it's getting close to,
Bedtime.
no, we have correspondence and then we have pay orders to do.
A very, very quickie on
Yes.
new stuff. On our road, there are people who have a tiny little dog. Every time they walk the dog, they have to call a neighbor and say, make sure your dog is not loose.
Is not what?
Loose,
Oh.
unbound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this dog is this big and that dog is that big and he's on your committee.
Oh, we have loose dogs too, which Mike is going around and and they're going to be fine too. Have run out and try to attack people who are walking their dogs.
Well,
So all of that.
I'm very glad that neighbors are working together to make sure that everybody's safe on. Yes, Ken?
Quick question, does Mike have some form of identification so that he can show he has standing to make these
I think
approaches?
it's,
No, he doesn't.
No?
But pretty much everybody knows him, but
Okay. But then
do you think he
people who
needs a shirt or something that has his name on it, or?
No, but I just wonder whether he might have some ideas about, maybe he just feels fine, but it seems like, for people who are from out of town and such, and then you have this guy
Yeah.
approaching you.
but you know what, the select board, we approach people all the time.
Yeah, I'm just.
He should have a badge because he's
Well, that's what I'm getting at, it's just something
Or
that.
at least an identification card.
I have.
That's what I mean, yeah.
One other, here's a big concern that Mike had, and for this concern, it might be good for him to have ID. The very last thing he brought up at the meeting was he does not know how to handle encountering vicious dogs or being called by a resident saying there's a vicious dog around. So that is something we have to work with Mike for, because if a dog is out of control and vicious, who do we call on who knows how to deal? I did give him the name of two people.
Call Rescue Inc. No. I'm just-
His title is Animal Control Officer.
Yes, he is an
And he needs a
officer.
badge.
That's what I'm
Just
saying,
like the
for that.
constable has a badge.
No, for that, he needs a badge,
I
definitely.
would say at least like an identification card that.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting
The
at.
listers
Yeah, for
actually
that,
have
for that kind of situation, absolutely.
Well, I think that's good. We'll put it on the agenda for next meeting and we'll talk more further about it. We're going to also, probably, since we only have one correspondence and we can put that off. It's not that crucial. It's just, well, I can do it really quickly. It's from the sheriff, the state police. I've been wanting for a long time to read what they are actually doing in our town, and I don't see the letter here, so forget that. Well, actually, there were 3.56 hours that a state police officer spent in Newfane calming traffic and looking for speeders and those kinds of things. When they actually are, and that's what we pay them for. And when they actually are doing other things, some kinds of studies or investigations, they don't charge us. So that was what was on the letter that I can't find. All right, so we're getting ready to. Is everybody in favor of adjourning this meeting?
No, because you have to
Gotta do
do.
pay orders.
Still have to pay orders.
We're ready to do pay orders.
Darn. Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Unless you want to stay
Thank
for
you.
pay orders.
Unless you want to stay for pay orders.
I've done that.
Thank you very
Bye-bye,
much.
thank you for
PCTV.
coming. Have a good